And the harbour crowd is calling from the old port to the oval. We will follow one and all. We'll talk the wins and losses, every player, every spark. Raise your voice for Fremantle. You're listening to Wharf
Welcome back to Wharf Talk. I'm JB and this is the review and the preview for round 23. Fremantle are one win away from the minor premiership, which means this is the most nervous I've ever been about a game we're favourites to win by 4 goals. And before we get anywhere near Adelaide, we have to talk about Melbourne. I've had a week to sit with it and I'd reached a place of calm acceptance, which lasted right up until I started writing this and had to look at the scoreline again. 4 points, 17-11, 113 to our 17-7, 109. Third loss of the year. Level at quarter time, up 3 at the half, up 1 at the last change, and then Melbourne kicked 5 in the final term and walked out with it. Game of the season, apparently. Wonderful. Love that for us. But before I get into what went wrong, and things went wrong, I want to plant a flag on the thing that went gloriously right, because it will outlast every bad feeling from that afternoon. Jaya Mason, Josh Treacy both kicked their 50th goal of the season in that game. First Fremantle players to reach 50 since Matthew Pavlich in 2012. 14 years, the third pair ever to do it as Dockers. Full stop. A miss finished on 53, Treacy bang on 50. Two blokes one afternoon at the MCG. In a fortnight I'll have forgotten the 4 points. I will not forget that. On to the autopsy. Longmuir came out swinging afterwards, harder than a 4-point loss usually gets. And honestly, good. 3 problems, and every one of them is a Friday problem too. Number 1, the contest. Fremantle were minus 25 in contested possession in the first half. Minus 25. That's not a wobble. That's the floor giving way. And here's the maddening part. We won the clearances 43-32, so the stoppage work was fine. We won the ball. We just handed it straight back like it was covered in something. Melbourne took 14 marks inside 50, and our back 6 lost the contest in the air and then lost it again on the ground, which is an impressive way to lose the same contest twice. Number 2, composure. And this one's almost a compliment in disguise. Longmuir's point was that the winning streak was so long and so comfortable that we genuinely forgot what a tight, nasty scoreboard pressure finish feels like. We got to the last 15 minutes, the heat came on and we froze. Couldn't decide whether to slow it down or take it on, so we did both badly. Kaisaya Pickett had 27 touches, 2 goals and 3 goal assists, dancing through exactly that confusion. He was superb. Didn't enjoy a second of it. Number 3, and you knew this was coming. Pearce. Rested, not injured, and Longmuir all but said the backline was a rudderless ship without him. Mason Cox turned it over for a lorry goal. Petty took a mark in our goal square late with the sort of freedom you usually only get in your own backyard. Individual moments, sure, but they're the moments Pearce quietly snuffs out before they become goals. We missed the big fella. Lesson noted, probably in permanent marker. Right, the good news, because there was plenty, and I'm not a total misery. The forward line is genuinely frightening. Voss was superb. 2 early ones and a bomb from outside 50 that reminds you a third tall who can do that makes us a nightmare to defend. Bolton was busy and dangerous at the centre bounce late. And Longmuir's framing of the loss as finals prep isn't spin. Melbourne dragged us into a fight our winning streak never did, and better we find those cracks now than in a final. So filed under character building. Moving on. Friday night, Optus Stadium, retro round, member thank you round, and the biggest home and away game of our season beat Adelaide, and the minor premiership is ours. Second in club history, first since 2015, clinched at home in the retro Guernsey in front of a packed house. If that doesn't get the hair standing up, you may want to check you still have a pulse. 18-3, 72 points, 143% outright first. Win Friday and it's done with a round to spare. Simple. Nothing could possibly go wrong on a night we've built up this much. Nothing ever does. Now Adelaide, and please do not roll your eyes at the 5th place team. They're 14-7, a whisker behind Brisbane in 4th and playing for a double chance. That makes them desperate, and a desperate good team is the most dangerous thing in football. And history says these two do not do comfortable. All time since 95, Adelaide actually lead the head-to-head, and their record against us has a nasty streak in it. Their biggest ever win over Fremantle is 117 points. In that same game, back in 2009, they held us to 13 points, 1 goal, 7 behind, which remains to this day their lowest score in the history of our football club. So if you ever want to feel something, go and look up round 15 2009. Actually, don't. I'm still not over it, and I was barely sentient at the time. The good news is the present belongs to us. We've won the last 3 straight and 6 of the last 8, but this fixture has a habit of coming down to the final 10 seconds, and I've got the grey hairs to prove it. 2 games worth raising because the players are still out there. Round 1, 2022, a kid named Josh Rackley kicks 5 on debut and has Adelaide 18 points up in the last quarter. We storm back, and in the final 10 seconds, a 7-game Heath Chapman throws himself at a Ben Keys shot on the goal line and spoils it to save the game by a point. Longmire called it the best spoil he'd ever seen. Chapman, Rackley and Keys are all running out again on Friday. Bring a cushion, and round 4 this year, we led by 25 at half-time. Adelaide kicked 5 goals to 1 in the third to drag it back to 4, and we hung on to win by 2. And here's why that one matters more than the scoreline. We dominated the early clearances and couldn't turn it into a scoreboard lead, and Adelaide surged. Sound familiar? It should. That is the exact movie Melbourne just made us sit through. Win the ball, waste it, watch them come. Do it a third time, and the Crows are more than good enough to write a different ending. Squiggle has all 27 of its models tipping us, which sounds comforting until you see the range. Anywhere from 53 to 89%. Average margin, 23 points. Translation, probably, but pack a jumper. 3 threats to keep an eye on. First, the small forwards, and this is the big one. Isaac Rankin and Josh Rackley are exactly the breed of quick, clever, high-impact small forward that Pickett just used to open us up if we didn't learn the Melbourne lesson. This is precisely where the receipts arrive. Second, the midfield. Jordan Dawson's their captain and their engine. 24.5 touches a game over his last 5, right up there with Serong and Brayshaw. Add Rory Laird underneath him, and it's a proper heavyweight midfield scrap. Our 2 have been enormous. So that battle decides who owns the territory. Third, the ruck, and a storyline rather than a call. Max Gawn rucked the entire last quarter on Saturday and gave Jackson and Cox a real headache. And Adelaide have Riley O'Brien, who's no slouch either, which has naturally got everyone asking whether Sean Darcy, who's been enormous in the waffle, comes back into the mix. I'm not picking the team. That's Thursday's business when the sheet drops. But it's a genuine conversation and worth watching. And speaking of Darcy, but bit of trade chatter doing the rounds this week that he could be moved to Richmond along with a few picks. Though what we'd actually get back for that, I've got no idea. The whisper is the space it frees up is aimed at a crack at Chad Warner down the track. I'll believe it when I see it. Warner's contracted to Sydney a while yet, so this isn't a tomorrow thing, whatever anyone tells you. But it does point at a real question the club has, with Jackson now the clear number 1 ruck. What's the long-term plan for Darcy? That one's worth watching come trade season anyway. Where was I? Oh, and Riley Thilthorpe, 5 goals in 3 games, is exactly the sort of tall handful that makes a fit Pearce look very appealing indeed. I want to keep half an eye on at our end. There's a story developing that Murphy Reid might sit Friday out. Something he's reportedly carrying out of the Melbourne game. Nothing's confirmed. The injury list came back clean, so fingers crossed it's nothing and we get him. Thursday's team sheet will tell us either way. One more note, and a respectful one. Taylor Walker announced his retirement this week. 316 games, over 700 goals. Adelaide's greatest ever goal kicker. A proper champion of the competition. His club send-off is at their round 24 home game. Not this one, so it's not a farewell at Optus, but it adds a bit of weight to their run home, and he's the kind of player you tip the hat to even in enemy colours. So here's the shape of Friday. Pearce presumably back, and the back line steadied the defensive ground ball work that got us carved up last week. The composure in the final 15 when it's tight and loud, and whether Rankin and Raquel get the same free run through our defensive 50 that pick it enjoyed. Get those right, and we're minor premiers by Friday night. We've got a chance to win a piece of silverware at home in front of our own under the retro banner. The occasion's real, the crowd will be huge, and the team is absolutely good enough. The only question left is whether the response is as good as the group is. I think it will be. Ask me again Friday at about 9:15. That's the review and the preview. Teams land Thursday, and I'll break the selection down then. Until then, go Dockers.
And the harbour crowd is calling from the old port to the oval. We will follow